Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm gonna be talking about my testimony. Um, I won't go straight to details, but I'll give you a nice, good summary of my testimony. So it all started when I was in my mother's womb, and she was pregnant with me. That the enemy tried to take me out, and meaning that she wanted to get and she was hiding it from my grandmother. My grandmother didn't want her to have me because she already had my sister. But my mom went. My grandma gave her the money. She went to the clinic and I don't know what happened, but she changed her mind and she ended up going shopping with the money instead of getting, with me. So, all my life I grew up and I always felt like, I didn't belong here. Not like in a weird way, but I always felt like I was like an alien or something. But yeah, it was weird. So I'm gonna fast forward because I got a lot of different testimonies. So in 2009, I got into a car accident. My friend, his legs got stuck in the car. They got crushed. They needed the life withdrawals to get him out the car, and it was crazy. Anyways, the thing is, I ended up getting a settlement for that car accident. And long story short, I go on vacation to Puerto Rico. Now I got $25,000. 2009, I think I was like 21. I thought I was rich. And so now I'm going to Puerto Rico. I'm not saved, I knew, but I was raised in the church. I went to church camp, all that, but I never had that one-on-one relationship with Jesus. But I knew the Bible, I read the Bible, church camp, my Sunday school, all that. Used to be at church all the time. The teen classes, everything. Read the Bible back and forth. Never had that one-on-one connection with God though, that relationship. So back to the story. So in 2009, so I go to Puerto Rico. Go to Puerto Rico. Had all this money. I'm young. That's the most money I ever seen was $25,000 in my bank account, clean. So I was like, oh, I never had money. So I thought I was rich. So I get to Puerto Rico. I think it's like the third day I'm in Puerto Rico. I told my sister, oh, let's go somewhere. Let's go out, I'll pay for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Let's just go out, let's go to the club. So it was me, my sister, my cousins, like two of my cousins and some other people. So we go to the club in Puerto Rico in Aguadilla. Go to the club. Mind you, I lived in Chicago, so I'm visiting my family in Puerto Rico. So I go to Puerto Rico. I visit my sister, my mom's, everybody's over there. I lived in Chicago by myself. So now I'm going over there on vacation. I didn't lose my job, but I know I was getting this money, and I was tired of where I was working at. So I basically just didn't go for 3 days, and I knew they were gonna fire me. So they ended up firing me, and I end up calling my lawyer and telling me like, hey, what's up with my case? He goes, oh, we can get more money. Long story short, I got that settlement. I went to Puerto Rico. Now we're at the club and dancing, doing all that stuff. Had, um, weed on me. I had white stuff. I had all the stuff. Anyways, the thing was that after the club, we all got hungry. So we ended up going to this Burger King in Aguadilla. And the only thing that was open at 3 in the morning. So in Aguadilla, there's this Burger King. Behind the Burger King, there's a caseria project. So I'm not from the area. I mean, yeah, I grew up in Puerto Rico half of my life, whatever, but I'm there for vacation, come from Chicago and you already know, blah, 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 right? So it's 2009. We're looking for parking. Everybody just came out the clubs. Everybody's going to this one Burger King. That's the only thing that's open at 3 o'clock in the morning. So we go to the Burger King and these girls start fighting with my sister for parking and whatever. My sister gets in the parking, right? We find a different parking in front of the Burger King. We park. So we go inside. My sister and her friends talking. They're talking about the girls. They're in front of us. The people that took the parking, so they're in front of us. It's two girls and a dude. The dude hasn't came in yet, but it was two girls. So my sister's talking, and they're talking in English. And the girl's like, oh, well, we know English, right? Anyways, the thing was that my sister's like, well, we already gave you the parking. Like, stop tripping. Anyways, the thing was I started trying to calm him down, and here comes the dude. Mind you, I didn't know who this dude was. He was a little shorter. He was way stockier than me. He was a man. I was only like 20, 21 at that time. He was like 30 something back then, but he was real, real drunk. So he came in there, and I'm like, hey, bro, like, I'm chill. Like, I'm trying to calm things down. It's not that serious. You guys already got the parking. So why you tripping, bro? Oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, stop. So he's pushing me, and I'm like, hey, bro, be cool, bro. Like, and then he went to push me again. So me and him start fighting. So I get the better of him, right? And that's when everybody started screaming, "Oh no, you gotta go, you gotta go! Like you don't know who you just fought." And I'm like, he was the chief, the boss of that project that was behind the Burger King. He was the boss from there. So I didn't know that. So I started running out, whatever. I start going. I get out and I start going towards the car. And I look back, I hear him. He's like, "Hey," and he goes to his car. And then he goes, "Hey," and I look back, he goes, "What's up now?" And he starts swearing at me like, "What's up now, mother F?" And I'm like, "Oh," like, I'm not thinking nothing of it. Takes out a gun, he shoots, breaks the back window of the car I'm trying to get in. I'm like, "Whoa!" So I run to the door to try to open the door. I don't know why I was trying to run back in the car, but anyways, I try to open the door to get in the car for the driver's side. It's locked. So when I turn around, he's face to face with me. And he points the gun at me and he shoots. So now I'm looking and I'm like, why am not hit? Why am I not hit? It was just really confusing. And like in the split moment, I'm just thinking all this, but it's happening so fast, right? Everybody's outside watching because they hear the gunshots. So now you got like 50 people just watching and he shoots at me. And I'm like, and in my head, I'm thinking like, wait, the window broke when the first shot. So I know the gun's real. You know, when he broke the window, I was like, oh, okay, he's shooting me with a real gun. So now when he's in front of me, he shoots. I'm like, wait, is that a fake gun? Because he shot me, but nothing happened. So then I start running. And every time he shoots, he pulls me down. Every time he shoots, he pulls me down. And I'm saying, God, please, like, why do I keep falling? Like, he's going to kill me. And he's just yelling. And everybody's just there watching. He's chasing me around the parking lot, just shooting. Every time he shoots, I fall. Something's pushing me down. Something's pushing me down. So and then and one I slip, and then he gets on top of me. And then he's on top of me with the gun and goes to shoot me in my face. And my sister comes and she grabs it. And he's putting it in her stomach. And he's like, "Get off, I'm gonna shoot you, I'm gonna shoot you." And then my sister's telling me, "Get up, get up." And I froze. And I froze. I didn't know what to do. I froze and I'm just looking up. And I'm looking, and I'm like, "What's going on?" Like, I'm dead. And I know he's gonna kill me. You know, like, it was crazy. But I'm frozen. And then finally the dude goes, he calls the two girls. He goes, "Hey, get this off of me, get this off of me." And my sister keeps on screaming, like, "Get up, get up, he's gonna kill you. Get up." And he's telling you, I'm just seeing him point the gun at my sister, telling her that he's gonna kill her, like, let go, and she's just like this. I'm just there looking. So then the two girls come that have brass knuckles, and they start hitting my sister, knocking her teeth out. And I'm seeing my sister's teeth flying everywhere. And then I finally snapped out. I finally snapped out of it, and I moved, and he shot. And then the gunpowder was so close. The thing was so close. It blinded me in my eye. I couldn't see for a year. I had to wear a patch in my eye. They told me once I'm this age that I was gonna be blind from one eye. That was a lie because I have 20/20 vision still, and I see perfect. Thank God. So he shoots. I finally get up. He shoots, blinds me, and then I go and I'm running like I can't see nothing. I can't hear nothing. You know. And then I'm in the ground. I'm just like this. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm gonna die here. Like, and I remember I just gave up. I was like, that's it. I'm done. You know? Then I see somebody come towards me and I'm thinking that's him that's gonna come in. It's my sister. She's all full of blood. Her teeth all missing. She's screaming. And I thought he shot her. So I started screaming. I'm like, oh my gosh. We all go to the hospital. And I remember I had cocaine, I had weed, I had all this stuff on me, pills, Xanax. And I'm like putting it in the car. In Puerto Rico's crazy because in Puerto Rico it's like it's not a third world country, but like the medical there sucks. So we go inside the hospital and where it's chaos, you know? I can't see. I'm thinking I'm shot. I'm like, there's no way, you know, I'm just powering my adrenaline. My sister's bleeding, so like literally we went in there. We got kicked out the hospital because we went in there. They didn't want to take care of us because we were just screaming. Like, imagine I just got shot at. I'm thinking I'm dead. I don't even know. You know what I mean? My sister's all her teeth is missing. And it was fast forward. So I was there for vacation. So they end up locking the two girls up. The cops got or whatever. The dude goes on the run. You know, I had to go to court. Because the people we were with, that was on our car. They wanted their property, whatever. So we end up going to court, right? I don't live there, so I don't plan on pressing charges or none of that. You know what I mean? I actually dropped the charges, but anyways. So when I get into the courtroom, the detectives that had the video came up to me and started hugging me, and then said, "We never in our lives see something like that. He was shooting you. And every time he shot you, you had angels. There was angels on you. Something was pushing you down. He goes, we seen him shoot you point blank, and you have not one bullet hole. Mind you, I had brand new clothes. I had all this money. I had all this money from the car accident. So, I had my settlement. So I had all brand new clothes. I just bought those clothes. I had holes all in my clothes. Holes. My pants and my shirt. No bullet hit me. Not one bullet struck me. And they were hugging me and they were crying. The police was crying and hugging me. They're like, you got angels surrounding you. You had angels. God save your life. We never seen nothing like this in our lives. He shot you. And in my head, I'm not saved. I'm hard-headed. I think I'm all big and bad. I'm 20, 21. I'm like, there's no way, man. He shot me with a 40 Glock. A Glock 23 was a 40 caliber. And I was like, maybe had too much kick but no, it was God. My mom always prayed Psalms 91 over me. And you don't know how strong it's a man's prayer. And now that I'm saved, I just know it was God, because that's not the only time. Like I said, my mom tried to abort me when I was a baby. That happened. And after that, that happened, right? They couldn't believe it. They were hugging me. I had all like my sister, it's my witness. 50 people seen it. All the people, my cousins were there. Like everybody seen this. So it was crazy, right? Thing was, make the long story short, I had to leave Puerto Rico to put $10,000 on my head because I went to court. I dropped the charges and I left. I haven't been there since. So I just wanted to say my testimony because I am going over there in June. And this happened in 2000 and I had a $10,000 bounty in my head because this guy was a big shot. Anyways, so God saved me from that. Every single time, even when I was little. And every time I went to church, they would always point me out. And I used to go to all different types of churches, even big churches where there was mega churches, and they'll point me out and be like, God has a purpose. God's going to use you. And I remember being like 13 years old and looking at this game banger guy in a testimony, right? I wasn't tatted up or nothing. And I was like, wow, he got shot. And you know what I'm saying? And and it's like God was showing me like, you're going to go through something similar like that. And I remember saying like, I never want to go through that. You know what I'm saying? And little did I know, I went through that and more. Fast forward, like a year after that or two, I'm riding my car, right? Anyways, they always told me that God has a purpose for me. Like I ran from the church, I ran from my calling because every single time, I got scared. I didn't believe it. I was on my own since I was 17. So, I was not forced to go to church somewhere. So I kind of like, went my own way. And I started chilling with all my friends in Chicago, in the streets, doing, stuff that I shouldn't be doing. Then that happened in 2009. And then after that, there was another time I'm in my car. I got a yellow Integra, and I'm in my car, and it's Halloween. And I got one of my boys behind me and one next to me. And we're driving, right? And in Chicago, they usually have gangs, you know what I'm saying? They always post it up. So they'll be in a group, right? They'll have like 20 people on this side and they'll have like two shooters on this side. So when you go on the block, you know what I'm saying? You're paying attention to all these people the whole time. There's the one that's shooting at you, and that's how they get you, how they trick you. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, so I'm seeing all these, and there's kids everywhere and everything. I'm seeing all these game bangers, and they always were breaking my windows. I had a car, I crashed this, so my car was black and yellow. And, you know what I'm saying? I don't know why they're hitting me, but they're always breaking my windows, right? So I'm thinking that these people threw a rock at my car, right? So I look, I'm like, oh, they didn't break my windows. So my guy's behind me and I got my other guy in the passenger seat. So my seat, mind you, my seat is up. Usually I have my seat all the way back, I'm 21, 22 now. I'm riding like this. So I have my seat all the way forward, like more forward, like this much forward than usual. So I get to my boy's house, my best friend Jason's house, and his mom comes out. I'm like, look, Marie, they threw a rock in my car. She goes, wait, Dash, hold on. And she looks, she goes, Dash, that's not a rock. That's a bullet hole. I'm like, what? No. She opens my door. In the panel, there's a hole, and on my seat, it's stuck on my seat. Mind you, I have my seat up because my boy's in the back. Usually I have my seat back. God saved me. He let it get stuck to the seat because usually if I was more back, I would have got shot in my stomach. It's the second time. So other time that I'm riding with my other boy, this is like more 2000 and Now I'm all tatted up. Now I'm really in the streets. I'm using drugs. I'm selling drugs. I'm out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm tatted up, and you know. So now I go to jail. I remember, and so now I'm on 7-to-7 intensive game probation in Chicago. Basically, you don't have no matter. They check you. They come to your house. They pull up to your house. They at any time you gotta be home at 7. You can't be around no gang bangers. You can't have no gang pictures. Nothing. You can't even wear colors. Like it's real strict. It's a trap. And it was I'm with my boy. It's almost like 6:50, and I'm like, bro, I gotta get home. If these people show up, they're sending me to jail. So we're rushing back home. And then when I get home, I'm like, bro, my phone. I need my phone. So I'm like, you know what? Let's go back. Let's go back to Mowgli's house and let's pick it up. So when we're on our way to Mowgli's house, we've been drinking and all that. You know what I'm saying? Me and my boy like to drink and then get out the car and just fight everybody every single day. That's what we used to do. Me and him go, right? We're driving, went in his Infinity, and the dude pulls up. The dude pulls up. The dude pulls up, and I forgot why we even started. I don't remember. I know we got into it when we were going home, and then when I forgot my phone, I was like, I forgot my phone. So when we were coming back to get my phone, we seen him, and we both passed the speed bump. So my guy's like, "Oh, watch this." He took a can, and he already had it. So when he went like that, the dude picked up somebody else. So he had somebody else in the car. So when we go across, the dude shoots 2 times, right? He shoots 2 times. That hits the it hits the headrest. One hits his car seat where his daughter sits in, but she was in there. The other one hits the headrest. I mean, the other one hits this headrest, the car seat, and then the other one skins me in my back. I get grazed. The bullet grazes me, hits the door panel, and lands on my hand. The bullet in my hand, and I'm like, "There's no way." And I'm telling him, I'm like, "Bro, they shot me. I'm shot. I'm shot, bro." I'm like, "I think I got Chris. I don't know. I got the bullet." He goes, "Nah, bro, you don't have nothing in your back. You don't have no mark." I'm like, "Bro, my back is burning. My back is burning, bro. My back is burning." He goes, "Bro, you good?" We get to Mowgli's house. I get out. Everyone's like, "Whoa, whoa, you got bullet holes. Whoa, what's going on?" Everybody's out there, "Man, bro, we just got shot at." And then I'm taking so I take off. Then I take off his shirt. I take off my shirt. I'm bleeding. And I was like, "Oh," but I'm like, I don't have nothing on my shirt. Everybody's like, "Bro, that's where they shot you." I'm like, "Bro, this is the shirt I'm wearing." So anyways, I put on the shirt. I'm like, "Come on, bro." I grab my phone. "Just take me home. Take me home." I'm like, because I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get locked up because I'm 7-to-7. And on top of that, I can't be around nothing like that. So anyways, I go home. I mean, we're on our way home. We get pulled over by the police. We got bullet holes everywhere. And then my boy's like, "Oh, no, it's because these people are shooting." And then all of a sudden, we see the car. And my boy's like, "That's dumb." And the police starts chasing him. And then my boy goes. Anyways, to make a long story short, we get pulled over. Now I'm on intensive game probation. So now I'm going in. I know I'm going in. You know what I mean? So now they're watching us. They were watching us the whole time, right? I have no choice. I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, "Oh, who shot you?" I'm like, "I don't know, but here's the bullet." And they're like, "Oh, what's your shirt? What shirt were you wearing?" I'm like, "This is the shirt I was wearing." They're like, "Oh," and the cop was on, "Man," he goes, "You get in trouble. You're on intensive probation. We're taking you in for questioning." I'm like, "Go ahead." So they took me in with that, but I gave the cop the bullet. That was the other time. And that's more than money. Fast forward. Now I leave Chicago and I go to Florida. Anyways, I go to New York. New York, I meet my wife, not even the first week I'm there, go to jail, put a fake case on me. Anyways, I beat that case. So now, and that's how I met my girl. Anyways, so I end up staying in Buffalo because now I have to go to court for this freaking case I got put on. They put fake case they put on me for a year. So now I end up, you know what I'm saying, being in Buffalo, going back and forth. I end up staying. That's why I met my wife. So now I'm living with my wife. We're living together and whatever. So then we go to Florida, right? Because some incident happened, and we end up in Florida, right? Like 2, 3 years. 2000, we got together in 2016. So in 2017, not even that, we went to Florida, right? So my wife gets pregnant. Mind you, my wife had cancer when she was 9. She only has one ovary. She can't have kids. They told her she'll never be able to have kids. It'd be a miracle if she has kids. So we're here, she gets pregnant, right? So we're like, okay, our doctors are in Buffalo, cancer doctors and all that, and the special doctors, because she had cancer, she was 9, she's been cancer free, thank you, Lord. So we go to Buffalo. We're there. She's bleeding. She starts bleeding every single day. And it was the worst thing in the world. because every time she bled and she had blood clots, I had to look to make sure it wasn't the baby. So I'm always looking through her blood clots to make sure that she didn't have a miscarriage. It was the most traumatizing thing in the world. And she already knew she was going to have a miscarriage because she just kept on and on. And we kept going to the doctors, and the doctor would just look at us. And finally that day happened and she screamed. I remember I called her mom and looked, and there was the little egg, and I was like, our dreams were crushed, and she had the miscarriage. We were really depressed after that. And I was so crushed. And I didn't want to see her like that. So I was like, I want to do anything, everything to try to have the kid. And she went to school. She started going to college. I started selling drugs, heroin. Always sold drugs, but I started selling heroin for the fast money. So I started selling heroin and, not making all this money, and so I'm buying all these Teslas, and eventually, like a year later, year and a half, like we're trying to have a kid, right? We're trying to have a kid. It was 2018, yeah, 2018. We're trying to have a kid, 2019, and we're trying and we're trying. Nothing's working, so I'm buying all these Teslas. I'm like literally spending hundreds and thousands of dollars, not hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and Teslas like a week, literally. I would buy these Teslas that cost $100, and she would use them every day, like 3 times a day, and all different types of different tests and all craziness. And so they were like, okay, if you can't, we're gonna do IVF, whatever. So I started selling drugs to afford it because I had no, but you know what I'm saying? Never had a father to raise me, like you know what I'm saying, to show me. I had my stepdad was there in my life, and I appreciate him so much. I love him because he tried his hardest. So I can't even complain. But my real dad was never there, and so now she's so now she's so we're trying to have the baby. I remember the doctor's like, well, give it 1 more month and then we'll try IVF, and I'm like, I know it's gonna cost a lot of money, But anything, I always do anything. I'm like, anything to not live that night, but just try to get my wife. She wasn't my wife at the time, but try to get my wife the baby, like just that sadness and going through the water. It was just crazy. The blood clots. I don't know if anybody ever dealt with that. You know what I'm talking about? It's traumatizing. Every single time you're looking to see if your baby's in the toilet. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I remember the first month, the last month that we're already about to start the IVF, she gets pregnant with my baby, my rainbow baby. And I was like, I was so happy, and we were so happy, and she put us up in bed rest, and I'm saying, she did the most to try to keep this baby. And I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm having a daughter, Well, I didn't know I was having a daughter yet. So she does this test with she could take out blood and they could show you before anything by the blood. And then she let me know I was having a daughter. So I was like, oh, okay. And we were supposed to wait to tell everybody. And I was like, you know what? I'm still selling drugs now. It's been a couple of years I'm selling drugs and all that. I started selling fentanyl. The heroin turned into fentanyl. No, you know what I'm saying? That time they was still heroin, and then fentanyl was introduced when it was popular. So now all the dope was mixed with it, or it was just pure. Anyways, the thing was that um I told her, man, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna change my life. I have a daughter on the way. And that's when the enemy, the enemy came in. And when it stole the happiness, he gave me money, he gave me everything. My life was good, I'm having the baby, and that's when he came. When I thought I was blessed and everything, he came and destroyed, steal, light, and destroyed, because that's what the enemy does. And that's what he did. They started raiding all the houses. I get a call from a local. He's like, bro, the Ninja Turtles are here. They're looking for you. DEA. He goes, go. I was selling next to my girl's mom's house, and so that's the first. They raided my girl's mom's house, her grandpa's house, looking, and they didn't find nothing, but I was able to take all my drugs and whatever and dip because I was in my house, but I already got the scoop. Hey, they're raiding the houses, leave. So I'm like, oh, so I just read up. So I grabbed the freaking hell, I grabbed a whole bunch of coke, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, I just read up. So I don't really have that much cash. Everything's in drugs. So now, I dip. I'm not, I don't want to say too many names where I hid and all that, but case is over, but still. Anyways, so I was hiding, I went in the hideout. Somebody picked me up. I was in the hideout and for 5 days, and now I was like, man. So the same dude that snitched on me, I called him, hey bro, so he already knew what's going on. And I still got off the things. I made him. Anyways, I got enough money to make it to Florida, to my mom's house. So now I was smoking crack. Was when I was doing all that, and I was acting crazy when my daughter, I was like, that's the thing. When I was having my daughter, I was doing all that. I was doing Xanax every day. I was smoking weed, Xanax. I was cooking crack for my real dad came to Chicago and I was making and serving him. I'll tell you more about that later. And so anyways, that's one crack that I tried there, but Xanax, cocaine, like just real liberated, like all day long. I was going crazy, So I was like, I'm gonna stop it. And then the cops came, lucky for me, so I had no choice but to stop. I left the stuff, whatever, sold it, drove to Florida, got taken to Florida, was at my mom's house, withdrawing bad from everything. I went in psychosis like a week later, like a couple of days later. I went in psychosis and I went crazy. So my mom took me to the hospital. They kept me there for 8 days, but that's for other story because that's real intent. I had like a spiritual warfare when I was there. Like the devil was burning me. Like I was fighting with the devil. They were fighting for my soul. I could tell you this much real quick. The devil, every single time he was trying to take my soul and I had 1%, he was like, I can't. He has a praying mom. And then I'll go to 100. 100, and to find the devil gave up and I was released. And I was released with my mom, and that's when I came back from psychosis. That's long story short for that. So now I'm off psychosis. I'm in the crazy home. So now I come back home and I'm like, man, I'm tweaking because the cops are looking for me. I'm all skinny. I came to my mom's house. I weighed 115 pounds. I knew. My regular weight is like 175, 190, around there. You know what I'm saying? Give or take the lowest. I came to my mom's house weighing like 115, 112. When my mom seen me, she didn't even know. She goes, I didn't know you were this bad. And then, so I'm out. I'm chilling, gaining some weight. I think I'm out for like a couple weeks, like 3 weeks now. Coloring the 8 days out in the crazy home, I'm stashed. And I'm telling my mom, like, they're watching us. They're watching us. She probably thinks I'm crazy because I just went crazy. Nobody was believing me. I'm like, Mom, the cops are watching me. They're here, they're watching me. Anyways, the water goes out. So my mom's like, you want to go to your grandma's house and take a shower? And I was like, I don't really want to. And she goes, you stink. You haven't taken a shower. And I was like, okay, I guess. So we go. And she goes, let me put gas real quick. All of a sudden, I see 6 pickups. Foo, 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 and come out with rifles and everything. I was like, oh no, they got me. My mom's like, no, she didn't even want to believe it. She's like, you know what I'm saying? This is the mother. She don't know what you're doing. She didn't know what the stuff I was doing out there. She thought like, yeah, my son thinks I was out there bogus. So they put me in the ground. It's the U.S. Marshals. They take me to Brevard. I get extradited to Buffalo. Now I'm facing 18 years. I have like 9 counts, selling to a reform man and all types of stuff. They were watching me for 3 years. And I'm just like, like all this. And now I'm finally having my daughter. And remember this whole time, my wife, she's pregnant with Scarlett and we just lost it. So she's high risk and I can't be there for her. And I'm fighting this case. And it was just like the most craziest thing. And before they came, the U.S. Marshals got me. My wife was supposed to leave 2, 3 days and come here. Thank God she did it. Anyways, so now I'm jail over there. I bond out. But the good thing was that the feds they didn't pick up my case. The state picked up my case. And usually the state would drop it and the feds pick it up. And the DA, they were telling me that like, hey, you so lucky that we're surprised they picked it up and they didn't drop it because we would pick that up. And so I was lucky. So I ended up bonding out. Good thing was when I was locked up, waiting 2 weeks to come over here, I got a pay lawyer. I sold all my stuff and my mom and my wife helped me and sold all my gold. I was able to get a lawyer. So I had to pay lawyer. I got bond. Now, backstory. When I was in Florida, that's when God was kept putting a seed. My cellmate, my cellmate was from church, bro. He was reading the Bible to me at the time. So me and him were talking about the Bible, and there was this other dude, um, that he ran the pot. His dads were preachers. His mom and dad, they had a church. So we would just talk about it, right? So when I got to Buffalo and I found that I had that Bible. and I was in the Word. Of course, when you're down and out, you look for God, right? Which it shouldn't be like that. It should be you looking for Him in the good and the bad. But I didn't know better, right? So now I get to Buffalo. I find out, and then it's freezing. I just came from Florida, so I don't have a jacket. Everything is freezing, right? It's around November, December, and I'm cold with short sleeves. Anyway, so I'm waiting and to get my property, and they're like, "Oh, you can't get your property tomorrow." I'm like, "The only thing I got is a Bible," and I forgot what else. I'm like, you know what? I'll get that tomorrow. And I never went back to get the Bible. That's how I started. The whole time I was praying Psalm 91. Every time I went to court, it was slowly. Like when I went there, they wouldn't give me no break. They were like, nope, you're doing time. You're going to prison. Anyways, getting drug. We end up getting drug court. And when we got drug court, they didn't take it. They're like, oh, he's a drug dealer. No, we're not giving him drug court. So drug court is basically if you complete it, like in 2 years, whatever, you do all these tests, blah, 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 blah. It's a setup too. A lot of people that go to drug court never come out of drug court. They'll be there for years. So around this time, it's COVID, mind you. So the prosecutor had a good lawyer. They know each other. They were like, okay, we're going to give him the drug court. But the deal was if I got one dirty drop, if I miss one thing, like I'm not gonna get breaks like regular people, the judge said, I'm gonna give it to you. But any little mistake you can't make a mistake like everybody else. You're going 18 years, 9 years each count. So I'm facing 18 years. My lawyer said, that's a life sentence. So anyways, fast forward. COVID, so it made it easier. Fast forward, I finished it. So my felonies got dropped down to misdemeanors. Instead of having sell to informant, it got dropped down to possession, right? Of fentanyl. And I end up getting misdemeanors and then I end up getting probation. So now I'm in probation, right? Now I'm like, "Oh, what can I do?" So then I'm like, oh, I can get my medical marijuana card. And I was an addict. So now I can get my medical marijuana card. Perfect. So now I get my medical marijuana card. So I'm smoking some probation, it's a breeze. And of course, what happens? I used to sell the dope. Now I'm like, you know what? Oh, and then my daughter was born. I'm there with my daughter. Everything's fine. And here comes the enemy. And then I go one day, whatever, and I decide to buy a bag of dope. Oh no. Oh no, I didn't have my weed card yet. So this is what happened. In drug court, even if you have your weed, you can't do nothing, right? I couldn't. They wouldn't let me even get my weed card. I'm fighting this, whatever. So then I'm like, I want to get high. I want to get high off something. So I bought a bag of fentanyl and it was $10 and bought a little tiny bit, but that would last me all week. And I do a little bit, to deal with what's going on. And then eventually I got hooked and I was like, oh, now I'm sick. And now I'm this amazing dad and doing this and making everybody happy. But the whole time I'm going to the washroom, hiding and I'm trying to keep up. I'm trying to, and slowly the addiction is getting to me. Now I'm getting sick and everything. Now, and mind you, I got to take drug tests. So fentanyl is like the quickest thing you could do fentanyl in a day and a half. It won't be in your system. Sometimes it doesn't even show. I know it doesn't show. Like most of the times it doesn't even show. So anyways, the thing was that once I got to probation, I stopped. Because now I had my weed card. And then got bored again and I started doing it. The thing was that, and one, I OD'd. Then fast forward, so now I'm doing drugs all this time, like off and on. So now I OD, right? It fast forward, my son's born, whatever. So I go to pick up some money, and I'm going to the bank, take out some money, and I end up, I didn't do it for like 3, 4 days, and I was like, what? And I was waiting with this dude. He's like, man, we're gonna get it straight from the plug. And the thing was, the dude gave me pure fentanyl, pure. Like when I tell you that I did like this much or maybe less. If I never injected. I don't remember what's going on. I remember me kicking him out, and my girl's like, "What's wrong? Why you sound weird?" I just don't remember. I remember that that was in a dream. Next thing you know, somehow I made it home. My wife told me that she was looking out the window and she was mad, like, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna leave him in there." And she never comes out because sometimes I used to get messed up, and then she just leave me. Oh, he's probably getting messed up, like he's probably drunk or whatever. Bro, this time she said she felt something. So after like an hour and 30 minutes of me being in there, OD'd, blue. I got good goddess, no brain damage, nothing. She comes out, she sees me, she calls it that. She's in there blue, sweaty, and the AC's on and everything. He's sweaty, he's dead. And then he comes over and he goes, call 911. She goes, no, he's gonna go to jail. So she's scared for me to go to jail because after all this, we got our kids, we have a family now. So he comes, he breaks the window. She looks, she finds the stuff. They hide it before the cops come. The cops come. They put Narcan on me 2 times through my nose. I don't wake up. I'm blue. They're trying to revive me for like 10 minutes, and they put two more through my IV, and they're already starting to pump my thing, and I wake up. That whole time when I was dead, I was falling to this tunnel, and I was going. It was like where I was going, there was nothing. It was so lonely. It was so dark. It was like purple tunnel, right? And I'm falling, and I just remember just like it felt like everything, and at the same time it felt like nothing. At the same time it was loud, but at the same time that it wasn't loud. Like in the same time I felt a whole bunch, and this, and then the second time I didn't. Like if I was just there. So it was a real scary thing. So I wake up and I was like, whoa, right? And then I'm looking, I'm like, ears are ringing or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God. And can you believe after like 2 months, I tried it again. And this time my girl calls my mom and was like, hey, I think he's on there and stuff. And then I was like, man, what am I doing? A couple of days later, I'm like, man, what am I doing? I'm going to kill myself. You know what? There's only one way. Because I didn't want to tell my parents. I did some and I went to probation. And I knew I had to take a drug test. And I went and I sniffed some and I went to fail on purpose and then I could get help. So after I went to probation, I called my mom. And mind you, I was supposed to come to Florida. And I had probation for 3 years after they dropped my charges of misdemeanors. And if I did good, they dismissed me in a year and a half. And that was the goal. So we were like a couple months, like we were like a year, you know what I'm saying? For me to go like 8 months, so I go to Florida. So I call my mom. She goes, why would you do that? She goes, nah, you gotta wait 2 years. She goes, and I'm like, but I need your help. I need help. I need you guys not to judge me. Just come. So my mom left her job. Everything came. And she started helping me. She helped me get sober, and my wife was there, and and I know it. And then I was like, man, there's a purpose. There's a purpose. There's a purpose. And I knew Jesus, and I knew God, but I just, so then I started trying to lucid dream, and I started messing with New Age and crystals. My girl's brother, we started like, trying to figure out what's the purpose, like what's there's a higher power, whatever. So I went to buy a car. He sells cars and fix cars. He's like, oh, come on, Brody, we'll look for one and we'll fix it. And that's how me and Brody became close. So me and him are trying to figure out the higher power, doing all these crystals, meditating, and you know what I'm saying? And this whole time, my wife is at home. She was never at church. She was a Catholic. She didn't believe in Christianity. My girl's brother didn't either. So we're all figuring it out. And finally, me and my girl's brother were like, it's Jesus, it's Jesus. One day we're like, it's Jesus, it's God, and we don't care. And I remember he went to a church and he gave himself to God. And he's like, I went to a church where nobody was there, and I praised the Lord, and I know God is real. And I'm like, amen. And then I go tell my wife, and my wife's like, I've been reading this Bible too. So we all got saved in the same time, and then to make a long story short, we all got baptized together. So now I get a call from my grandma. Mind you, I met my dad twice. A couple of times I still cracked to him because he came and to Chicago out of nowhere and was a bad dad, introducing me to drugs. And anyways, the thing was that I learned I could crack just to set it to him. So me and him fell off, like we got into it. So I told him don't ever contact me. So I never really never talked to him like that. Went out with him a couple of times. I really never knew him like that. So my grandma calls me and tells me, hey, your dad's doing really bad. He's in the ICU. He's about to die. I mean, I never thought I would care. Something just hit me. I'm freshly saved, and I'm like, oh my God. And I call my mom, and I'm like, Mom, I don't know, but something's telling me to go over there. To go over there and see my dad. And to tell him about what God's done for me, how he saved my life. And I need to tell him to repent. And God, I got to tell him about the gospel, the good news. My mom's like, don't worry. My mom flew from Florida to Buffalo, and then we drove 7 hours. And I remember when we got there, he was passed out. And he was unresponsive for the rest of the day. So I'm like, oh, okay, bought him some stuff. I'm like, well, at least I pray over him. He goes, son? And my mom looks, he goes, do you know who that is? And she points at me, he goes, yeah, that's my son. And then my mom goes, do you know him? He goes, no. I go, so you know him? He goes, yeah, that's my son. And I was like, hey, Dad. And I seen his eyes, and I went up to him and look, you're not gonna make it. I said, God told me, sent me here to tell you that you gotta repent and accept Jesus. I'm gonna make it out of here, but there's a better place. And if you repent, I'm like, I came all this way to tell you that God, he did this to me, and you know that how I was in the street, that I'm not lying. That I'm not gonna come all this way to tell you that Jesus is real. He saved my life. Now, I'm just trying to save your life. All you gotta do is repent and confess with your mouth that God is Lord and that he rose on the third day. I'm like, and you will be saved. And he accepted Jesus, and he repented, and he laughed, and we talked for a little bit. The next day, I had to go because I was on probation and I had like a 48-hour pass. He passed away, and then now I think about it. It was so good, but when I was going to the hospital, from the driveway to the hospital in New Haven, Connecticut, there's like tunnels that you gotta go to him. The same tunnels I was seeing when I OD'd, I was dying. I was like, it was so crazy. So, right, so there we go. So he passes away. I was able to preach him the good news, which was wonderful. I feel like God knew that me being saved and born again, that if I didn't forgive my father, I was gonna hold that thing, and I was able to be able to forgive him and preach him the gospel. If I don't know, he repented, and I hope he really meant it, and he's up there in heaven. Anyways, so then now I get the okay. We moved to Florida. I'm sober. I'm not smoking weed. I'm not vaping. I'm nothing. I'm obedience, everything, right? I'm thinking like if I could be around anybody, boom. I didn't even last 2 months. Started smoking. Started drinking. Started doing coke. Um, got a job. Stopped going to church because my job was on Sundays. Started chasing the money and just kept falling. And I'm just chasing all these things, just trying to fulfill this void. And it just feels like piling more up. I gotta drink more. I gotta smoke more. It's just like it's just not enough. The same joints aren't doing nothing. I gotta smoke 2 joints. I gotta smoke 3 joints, 4 joints. And I get a motorcycle. Now I'm in this job for like a year, doing all this, drinking. And I find I'm like, my mom's like, she's like, you need to stop. So I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna stop drinking because I used to love drinking at one motorcycle. So I stopped drinking. A month later, I get into a motorcycle accident. I get hit by a car. This was November of 2024. And I know that was God showing me again, like, hey, because and then I'm in the trauma center and I'm looking at my Facebook spam messages and an intercessor wrote me something. It was a spam and I read this every day. Whoever you are, and if you watch this video, you come across this video, let me know if that was you, man, because every day I think about it, who wrote that to me? And it basically said, show you my line. It was November 18, 2024. So they wrote this before my accident. I seen it after my accident. I think my accident was like 2 days before Thanksgiving. So it's, the Lord gave me a word concerning you in my prayers. With you I saw God's favor, success, joy, and breakthrough around you. Well, I saw a dark cloud covering you, fighting against your progress. You need to do something to break this yoke. I read this every day. So now I'm in the hospital. I'm like, what does that mean? First thing, boom, I remember I got broke my back in 3 places. My leg was broken, both legs broken. I go to church that Sunday, to my mom's new church, the house church. Now I'm going now. And I'm there. And some pastors come up to me after the service from a whole different state. They're from like Arkansas or something. They was just visiting. And they told me the same message. God has a favor. He wants to do great things with you, but you have this bullseye, this dark cloud on you that you need to get rid of. And I'm like, what? So I'm like, I start freaking out. So now I'm going to church. And I'm just like, I'm trying, I'm smoking weed still. I don't drink, but smoking weed and vaping. And you know, then I start, messing with these gas station pills, fake Percocets and everything. Not a lot, but still, they made me feel funny, whatever. The thing was that I'm like, man, I need to that message, and then I'm like, so then I stopped it, you know. I was like, you know what, I'm not doing that. And then I, still smoking the vape. Then one day I go to church and they were like, pick somebody to pray with, and my brother Daniel goes up to my wife and he prays for my son, and then they exchange numbers, and she gets the number from Anyways, he ends up texting me a week later, like, hey, bro, and I start talking to him. I'm thinking, like, okay, here comes another person from church, you know what I'm saying? Because I was church hurt before this. I forgot to mention that, but that's for other day. And so I'm like, oh, yeah, he's going to act like he wants to disciple me and all that. He's really not, you know what I'm saying? Like, they always do. Then whatever. But it was constant, constant. And I'm like, you know what? Let me react because he's gonna ask me, and I don't want to look dumb. So I'm like, let me, what's to this? I open my Bible, I start reading Acts, and I start watching a video. I'm hooked all day. I haven't stopped. And this was like 2 months ago. I haven't stopped, right? And then I was like, wow, And then that message. And then I was like, you know what? And I fully surrendered to God. I fully surrendered to Jesus. And I started speaking in tongues. And I just felt God's presence for the first time in my life. Even when I got saved, I didn't feel like this. I just felt the fire of the Holy Spirit. And I just started speaking in tongues. And it was the most amazing thing ever. And I was just like, fully surrendered. So now, me and him are doing Bible studies and every day I'm just keep growing and growing and growing and growing. And to this day, this is only like 2 months ago. I don't smoke no more. I don't vape. God delivered me from all that. He gave me tongues. He's giving me more patience. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it's still rocky. I still, God is still working on me, like everything, but God's presence, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Feeling and being able to talk to him, and being able to have that one-on-one relationship. Like now I know, what I'm saying? Like what everybody was talking about. Like you can't fake it. Like when God's really in your life and you so fully surrender, you feel the love of God. It makes you want to just do a whole bunch of things. Yeah, that's a little bit of my testimony. We're here now, I started this YouTube channel. I feel like I just need to put my testimony out there. God's been talking to me and letting me know that all these things I've been through now, and there's way more testimony. That's just a couple brief ones that this wasn't wasted, that God has a purpose for me. That God wants me to do his will. He wants me to save souls. He wants me to enter places that nobody can enter. These tattoos don't mean nothing. All it means is I could go somewhere that the pastor can't go and reach souls that the pastor can't reach because I look the part. Nobody's going to question me. And I know he's going to use me, and he's using me now. And I just want to tell you guys out there, man, don't give up, man. Don't give up. Like that was a liar, man. God could use you, and you have a purpose in this world. You have a purpose. Everybody has a purpose. And don't give up, man. Do God's will. Look at me. He changed me. Nobody had to convince me that Jesus was real. That I seen him. I seen him for myself. I'm a living testimony. And it's not about the outside, it's about what's in the inside. Somebody with tattoos, so right now somebody might not have tattoos. That's all nice at church. And you see me enter the church, all these tattoos, looking like a thug. My heart might be more pure than him. Because the outside doesn't matter, it's what's in the inside. I just want to encourage everyone to not give up. God has a purpose for you. He has a purpose for everybody. He sees the finished product. He sees the finished product. I don't deserve to have his grace, but he gives me grace. I don't deserve to go to heaven, but he gives us grace. And I'm so grateful for God. Jesus, thank you. Hope you guys enjoy the testimony. I'm going to be telling more testimonies and reacting to videos and there's a whole bunch of different stuff. You subscribe, share. Let's get this testimony out there. Share it with big platforms. We're trying to get this testimony out there to big podcasts and just have everybody here, and I just want to do God's will and just, it's not a race, it's a marathon. But thank you everyone. I'll catch you guys in another one.